Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the best team to rebuild in the Premier League, and I think that's going to be Brighton for the next season. Now Brighton are one of the media darlings of the league. They played really well last year, didn't really deserve to finish in 17th but unfortunately did. They've recently sold Ben White for 50 million, which of course FIFA doesn't simulate, so what we're going to do instead is give them a £50 million financial takeover. Should just about cover it and give them a realistic budget to what they'll be using going forward this season. Now, their goal difference was as good as the top 6. I think they conceded less goals than Leicester and West Ham, but they still finished 17th. That really shows the area of the pitch that we need to be strengthening is going to be up front. Now, not only do we have a lot of money to be strengthening up front, but it's actually one of the most fun positions to be strengthening in. The first thing we're going to do, however, is sign a midfielder. This is the player that they've signed in real life, Mwepu, but first we need to scout and shortlist him. So there we go, that's all queued, and I'll simulate until he's ready to sign. So here we are, ready to sign Mwepu. Let's have a look where he is. There he is, he's been fully scouted. So we'll go into the shortlist and see how much they want to sign him. Now in real life, I think he costs between 20 and 30 million, but on here he's going to cost around 13. We're going to offer 13 million, submit the offer. That should be good enough to get him. Now he's going to pair well with Bissouma, another player who's actually linked with leaving Brighton. He's also linked with Arsenal, and if he does leave, that'll be another 50 to 70 million pounds in the Brighton and Hove Albion transfer budget, giving them over 100 million pounds to spend on new players. Now, if you can see, this is what makes them such a good prospect for a rebuild. They start off with a huge amount of money, they've got a fairly good defence already, and they just need to sign a few strikers. Now let's focus on this quickly. We'll give him a huge signing bonus just so we confirm that he does sign. And there we go. We've got Mwepu and we're going to be playing him instead of Pascal Gross. Now if we have a look at the team, you can see we might also want to sign a centre back, but it's not super important that we do that. Webster's got a good amount of pace. Dunk's a beast in the air at 6'4". Veltman's pretty quick along the floor as well, despite only being 6 foot. Lamptey's got potential to be really good. And then on the other wing back position, we have Solly March, who's a solid player, even if he's not great at defending. In front of the defence, we have Mwepu and Bissouma, both very good on the ball, both pretty quick, strong, good at defending, and going forwards. So again, that is solid. At attacking mid, we have Trossard and Lallana, both different options. Trossard's a bit quicker, Lallana's a bit better at tracking back and defending with his high work rates. And then at front, we have the weak area of the squad, Maupay and Welbeck. Now Welbeck used to be pretty good on the game. Unfortunately now he's lost his pace, he's lost his strength, and he's also not that great at finishing either. 74 finishing is not Premier League standard. Maupay was pretty good in his first season in the Premier League, but unfortunately he's also not quite progressed as well as Brighton would have hoped. So we're going to scout some striker options, including people like Adam Armstrong, and I'm going to get back to you when we've simulated through the scouting process and we're ready to sign one. Okay, see you in a sec. Okay, so that's the simulation done. Let's have a look at who could be playing up front for Brighton this season. So we've got Adam Armstrong. He's a 75 rated, short, fast player who can also play on the wing if we decide to go to 4-3-3. He's from the Championship, so he'll cost between 12 and 17 million. He's definitely an option. Depends if you want a fast player. He's not very skillful, but he's got agility and pace and pretty good finishing. Yaremchuk is the next option. He's 6'3", also is fairly quick. He's not going to be bursting away from players with just 70 acceleration, but again, between 12 and 18 million, you'll get him up front for you. The next option is another target man. Now, Paul Onuachu is 6'7", and despite this, he still has pace in the 70s. His strength is his main feature, alongside his huge height, of course. He's a really good finisher for someone who's only 78 rated, and he's good at penalties, and he's just generally a really good target man. He'd pair well with Armstrong, or this next striker, Patrick Schick. Now, Schick has not got that much pace, but he is good at dribbling, which is a bit of an oddity on this list. Armstrong can dribble a little bit, but he's not technically gifted, whereas Schick is very good on the ball. He's also got 4-star skills. Despite being predominantly left-footed, he can also do a little bit of shooting with his right. He has some pretty good traits as well, flair and finesse shot both being very good. If you want a small, fast, hard worker up front, however, I think Martin Braithwaite is the one to go for. He's the quickest of the bunch, except for Armstrong, but he's also a little bit taller than Armstrong is too, 5'10" instead of 5'8". He's also got flair, he's good at jumping, he might not be able to finish as well as the others, but if you want someone with good work rates, medium isn't too bad. Personally, I think you're going to need to sign 2 of these players, and you've definitely got enough budget to do it. If you want to go for the classic target man and poacher, I'd go for Onuachu for like 25 million and Armstrong for about 15. I think that would be a pretty good combination for 40 million pounds. If you want to go for 2 regular strikers instead, I'd go for Braithwaite and Armstrong. Now Braithwaite might not have the biggest release clause at 13 million, and that's going to be a benefit for you. You can just go straight in and offer him a contract. Personally, I would go for Onuachu, Braithwaite or Armstrong. You could even go for all 3. And then play Armstrong either as a left wing back or a left winger in a 4-3-3 formation. If you are going to stick to the default 5-2-1-2, you're probably going to need 2 strikers, one of them to be a target man and one of them to be fairly quick. The problem with signing Braithwaite, of course, is that huge wage you can see over on the left hand side. 110,000 is a lot of money even for a Premier League team. It's going to wipe out about half your budget. However, of course, it is still very much affordable. We'll try and offer him 100,000 with a big signing on bonus, see if he accepts that. I've decided to go with Armstrong instead because I failed the negotiations for both Yaremchuk and Onuachu, but I'm sure he'll still pair well with Braithwaite. He's got a lot of pace, they both do, so we'll see how they get on in the Premier League. Of course, it's going to be quite fun to use them on FIFA, as you'd expect. A lot of pace is always fun to use, and you can see us probably shooting at the table with these 2 up front. So let's have a look at how we'll line up now. So we'll have Braithwaite and Armstrong. Now you can see they do have pretty similar stats. However, Armstrong's a little bit quicker, and then Braithwaite's just a slightly better player in every other position. Armstrong's definitely going to be getting in behind, whereas Braithwaite's probably going to be dropping deep and trying to pass the ball through to Armstrong. Trossard is probably the next weakest player in our squad, but that's just because he doesn't actually play as an attacking midfielder. I'm going to try and change his position, so you can see there Trossard will become an attacking midfielder in just 4 weeks. That's pretty solid if you ask me. He's already got the stats for it as well, so fingers crossed he gets a nice overall boost from it. So here's our team. The next weakest position is Sanchez in goal, but he's 22 years old, so he's only going to improve if we keep playing him. We could always sign a short-term goalkeeper and maybe loan Sanchez out, but he's been pretty good in real life, so we're going to give him a chance in the first couple of games. So let's simulate till the start of the season, and we're just going to simulate until this game against Sheffield United and see how we play with Trossard as an attacking midfielder. So here we are in the Premier League just before our game against Sheffield United. You can see Trossard has had a stat boost by changing his position, which is very good news for us. Let's get into this and see how we do with these 2 up front. So of course you can see we've got a fully licensed stadium. Always nice to have one of those in the game. Amex is a fairly new stadium as well. I remember they used to play in a pretty poor stadium until they moved into this one. So it's good news for Brighton fans that they have got it. Armstrong getting the ball, nice, he's pretty agile. So a good signing at striker, I think. Here's Lamptey then with a nice bit of pace down the wing. Into the new lad, Mwepu, and he sees Adam Armstrong. Now Armstrong is of course pretty quick, but he's also good on the ball, so we're going to try and bend one in. What a goal. Not a bad first goal if you ask me. Now that's what you're paying the big bucks for. What a goal. You're right to celebrate that one, Adam. You're proving that you were worth the money over someone like Onuachu, who probably wouldn't have been able to do that, even if he'd been a bit better at holding the ball up. Time for us to do some defending of our own. See if Veltman can get there. He can. Good save from Sanchez. That's why we're keeping him in the squad. He's definitely got potential to improve, and he's going to improve along with you and your rebuild as well. Now here's Braithwaite. Going to try and 1-2 it to Armstrong, but doesn't need him. Armstrong's got enough pace to get around him. He has. He's been taken out. He was about to burst into the box. And it's going to be a red card for Egan. Wow. Unlucky for Sheffield United there, I think. He was so close to getting the ball, but he just got done by the pace of Armstrong. Now, we do have quite a lot of options for free kicks, although I think a couple of them are on the bench. Braithwaite isn't bad, but we're going to have Basuma because he's got a bit more power. So let's just try and get a nice amount of power on this. Do a timed free kick. Oh, good save from Ramsdale. Now Armstrong gets a 1-2 with Trossard. Armstrong again, what a finish, proving that he is the man to sign. Highly recommend you give him a go, especially if you decide to play as Brighton. He fixes exactly the weakness that they have. He's got a lot of pace, he's a good shooter of the ball. He's just everything that Brighton need in real life. Now of course they could go for someone like Tammy Abraham. You might be wondering why I left him off this list. Well, personally, I don't really rate him as highly as I do some of the other players we scouted. I think Braithwaite would be a good signing for them. And Mwepu is also doing pretty well. You can really see his pace in midfield. It's pretty useful to have. Of course, everyone wants nice, fast centre mids, especially if you're playing something like Ultimate Team. I'm sure everyone's tried, a Rashford at centre mid or something eventually. But with Mwepu, Basuma, Lamptey, you just need a fast right wing back, or left wing back, sorry. And then all of a sudden you've got pretty much the entire midfield sorted. Look at that, he's got so much composure, and that's a hat-trick in the first half for Adam Armstrong. He's definitely one you need to sign. I can't speak highly of him enough. This is the first time I've used him on any FIFA, and he's got a hat-trick for me, so that proves how good he is. I think he fits in with Brighton as well, so give him a try. Good play there from Braithwaite. 4th goal for Adam Armstrong. 1 half, 4 goals and a backflip. Not a bad start, if I do say so myself. Probably already worth the transfer fee. So it's time for the second half now. You can see Armstrong's goals on the bottom there. If you're wondering what difficulty I'm playing this on, this is actually on Ultimate. So yeah, he's playing pretty well, especially on one of the higher difficulties. So as the match is in a bit of a lull, I'll give you a review of some of the other players on my team. Basuma, very good. Lamptey, pretty quick on the ball. He hasn't been too good in attacking or defending, but his pace is definitely going to help him out when he does develop. Trossard's been alright, although I did expect a little bit more. And Braithwaite's been pretty good. He went for a cheeky chip there, but maybe could have gone for a different finish and he would have scored. So that's pretty much the end of the game now. It's been a pretty good performance from the new players. Can we get Armstrong one last chance by giving it to Lallana and getting it through to Armstrong? Maybe, here we go. Can we get it to the back post? Oh, I think that was going to be a goal if the game hadn't ended. But a good first half there from Armstrong. 4 goals from 4 shots in the first half. And that's why I think Brighton is so good to rebuild. We've only had to buy 3 players and we're already a much better team than we started off. Of course, I've still got a huge amount of transfer budget left, so if you do try and copy the start, you'll also have an extra £41 million that you can spend strengthening maybe your centre backs, your left back, your goalkeeper, or maybe buying another attacking midfielder to replace Trossard, McAllister and Lallana. It's totally up to you how you play this, and that's why I think Brighton are one of the best rebuilds you can do, not only in the Premier League, but in the entire game. Definitely going to be a fun one for FIFA 22, and hopefully you stick around with the channel to see that content too. So hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this, where I recommend rebuilds, show you how to start them off, and give it a like if you like this format of video where I actually play as the teams. Please do let me know if you've got any suggestions for other teams we can do this with. I've got one for Werder Bremen that's going to be coming out pretty soon too. Hopefully you liked the video, hopefully you've been enjoying the content that came out recently as well, and hopefully you'll stick around for the next one, which will be coming very soon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.